Okay, guys, welcome to week 11 of our class. Not too long to go before the end of the semester here. This week, we are talking about sentiment analysis, so let's dive right in. So just having a look at our schedule here, we can see we've got sentiment analysis this week. Next week, we'll be talking about ORM, or online reputation management, then mobile marketing, and then we're into the final exam. So not too long to go before we actually get to the final exam. Just make sure you've got those quizzes done, and obviously we are into round 4 of the simulation. Let me know if you've got questions there. Couple of questions to think about for this week, guys. Essentially, when we're talking about sentiment analysis, we're talking about how people react to various companies, to products, and what type of feedback they put online. So, first question here is, do you read comments and reviews when researching a product? So if you're looking for something to buy, do you look at people's feedback? Do you look at the comments that they make about it? Does that influence your perception? When you're looking at a product, we've got a rating out of 5, for example, 4.5, maybe 4.6. What type of rating does it have to be for you to purchase it? Or is there a cutoff for you to purchase it? Like if it's below a 3, are you going to say, nope, not going to buy it? And then have you ever left a negative review before? I'm sure lots of people have. But these are all things, guys, that we can monitor, measure, and analyze by doing a sentiment analysis. And that's going to give our company lots of information on potential problems in the future, feedback on our company, our branding, our positioning, our products. So important to follow. Okay, first thing to think about, guys, is the definition of a sentiment analysis, also known as opinion mining. And it's a technique that's used to determine customer opinions and whether or not they are positive, negative, or neutral. So obviously, if we've got positive feedback, we're in that positive feedback loop. We're doing well with our customers. If we're negative, we might need to change some things. So there's a couple of different forms of sentiment analysis, guys. We can do an informal one where we're just looking through comment sections, through social media, through all of the different sources that we might get feedback, and doing some informal kind of new eyes research on that. But you can also take all of that data, you can download it, collate it, and put it into various programs that are going to do a proper analysis on it to actually get the full feedback and results on that information. So we're not going to be jumping into the really formal research-based sentiment analysis. Basically, this video lecture is to kind of talk about what a sentiment analysis is, talk about the main points, the main concepts connected to it, and think about how we would do an informal sentiment analysis. Some of the more formal ones you would do, at a 300 level year class, like a stats analysis or something like that. So we're just going to look at the main ideas here. We're looking at customer perceptions and data-driven decisions from that data. Okay, and again, guys, it kind of boils down to this. Is something positive, neutral, or negative? If somebody leaves a feedback comment saying, my experience has been fantastic, obviously we're going to look at that and go, yes, that's a positive feedback. If it's okay, I guess, that's going to be neutral. And if somebody says something's useless, that's obviously going to be negative. If we're getting lots and lots of negative comments like that, that might mean that we need to take a change in strategy. So in terms of our digital marketing strategies, we need to think about that. We need to monitor it. We mentioned earlier in the year social listening. So again, that's kind of the sentiment analysis on the social media side. But opinion mining, getting all of this feedback from people to figure out where we sit. Okay, so when we are talking about sentiment analysis, there are 4 different types of analysis that can be analyzed. So the first one we've got here, guys, is fine grain analysis. Second one is aspect-based, and we'll talk about what these mean in a second. Then we've got emotion, and intent is our last one here. So when we're talking about fine-grained, guys, we're talking about feedback that we can put in a scale, essentially. So if we've got a Likert scale or anything that is ranked 1 to 5, for example, like 5 stars, or if we've got a scale out of 5 that says very positive, positive, neutral, very negative. That's out of 5. We can put that into a scale of 1 through 5, right? That makes it quite easy to analyze when we're putting that into systems because it becomes a numerical value, and then we can analyze that across the board. But fine-grained is kind of, yeah, it has that numerical value to it. When we're talking about aspect-based, we're talking about the attributes or the characteristics of something. So could be the battery life is good, the sound quality is good. What are the characteristics or the features or functions of that product or the company that people are actually mentioning, right? So if we pick up like, oh, it has amazing battery life, and 10 people are saying that, then we know that we've got something good there. For emotion detection, we're looking at people's different emotions that they're displaying in their comments. Those are pretty easy to pick up, although sometimes people can be sarcastic or ironic. So you don't always pick them up, but I think for the most part, guys, we can determine whether people are happy, angry, frustrated, what their feeling is around a company. And then we can also think about what their intent is. So what are they actually, with their comment, what are they actually trying to do? What's the reason behind them making a comment? Now, you might be wondering, why is that important? Because, guys, when we go back to some of the targeting that we've talked about in the past, we can actually target people based on their intent. What are they actually intending to do? Are they intending to purchase a product? Do they want to download something? Are they trying to subscribe? What are they actually trying to do? And then the comment that they leave, does that indicate what their intent was as well? So when we're looking at that, that can give us information on, what a lot of our customers are actually looking for. If we've got hundreds of comments on our Facebook page, for example, that talk about poor customer service, we know now that they are looking to get customer service, right? The customer service is not working well, but that's their intent. They're looking to communicate with the company, right? So that gives us some data that we can look to make a decision around what type of strategies in terms of improving our customer service. Okay, here's an example. This is actually a real example. I've changed some of the details, but this is from the Kelowna Rant and Rave page. So rant to Jimmy's Italian restaurant. Just went out for my birthday dinner. I live on the west side, and we made a special trip for dinner tonight. I was dead set on a menu item they had last year. I've had it dozens of times. It's a lasagna loaded with veggies, baked to perfection. Well, it's not on the menu anymore. So we asked the server what would be good for a vegetarian, and all they have is pizza and pasta, plain tomato sauce, or plain Alfredo sauce. Not even a vegetarian platter, even though they have all the means to do such a platter. I'm so disappointed. They really lowered the bar for their vegetarian food, and it sucks. Anyways, rant over. I hope someone who cares might see this and add something great for us vegetarians. 2 stars out of 5. Sad face. Or that is the koi face. Not quite sure what that emoji is. But if we go back to this, guys, can we see any of these different types of sentiment analysis in this post? So if we think about fine-grained, is there something on a 5-star scale that is evident in this one? I think we can see here, guys, down the bottom, 2 stars out of 5. So we're actually getting a scale, a numerical value here that we could put in. If we're looking for something that's aspect-based, is there some characteristic there? Is there some emotion that people have displayed or the commenter has displayed, or do we know what their intent is? So let's have a look here, guys. Fine grain, I think we can see there, 2 stars out of 5. Aspect based. So what is the characteristics that this person's looking for? So firstly, they're obviously wanting vegetarian. That's a characteristic of the meal that they want. So they're talking about meals that are loaded with veggies. So obviously they like meals that have lots of veggies in them. They like them to be well cooked, baked to perfection. And they don't like things that are lacking flavor, i.e. plain. So these are aspects of a good meal that they're describing that this company could follow now to actually improve its service. When we're talking about emotion, obviously we can see unhappy. We've got so disappointed. And then when we think about intent, why is this person actually posting this comment? What's their underlying intent here? They're looking for good vegetarian meals from different restaurants. So they might go to another restaurant and get a good vegetarian meal, and they might leave a positive comment there. Underlying both of the comments they're putting on here is where can they get a good vegetarian meal? All right, so we've got there a quote, add something great for us vegetarians. So 4 different types of analysis, guys, that we can do with comments like this. We can take out quite a bit of data from this, which is going to give us information on what we should do, not only on our digital marketing, but how we should adapt our company, our products, our service, all of those different aspects. Okay, couple of the steps involved in doing a sentiment analysis. We are going to start by collecting data. Then we are going to clean that data. Then we're going to classify it. Then we're going to measure and analyze it. And then we're going to draw conclusions. So just fleshing that out a bit, guys. The first thing that we have to do is find all of the feedback. Now, you can download this if you're like a digital marketing manager for a company, you can go to their social media accounts and you can download all of that information through the analytics and insights. Like Facebook, for example, has options to download all of the insights from that. So we can get them directly from the sources. There's a number of different paid websites that we could go to that will do a similar thing. SEMrush does it as well, but there's lots of different sites, guys. We're not going to get too much into paying for any type of sentiment analysis. There's a couple of free ones we can use as well. We'll look at Social Searcher later on, but we want to make sure we can get all of that data. The next thing we want to do is clean it up. So we're going through looking for the keywords in that data and taking out any words that are not relevant, the, is, and all of those words don't have any value attached to them. So we would go through and clean up all of that information. So that's something that can be done in various programs. Again, it could be done in a program like Excel, but most people would do this through a paid service. Then we're going to go through and basically classify the data. We could use different databases, different lexicon databases for this. So those databases would have a list of words and then all of the words that are positive, all of the words that are neutral, all the words that are negative. And then it would go through and classify each of the words in the sentiment in your data to actually figure out how many of this word and how many of this word are in there. So again, guys, you can do this just by looking at a post or a comment. That's kind of just sort of an informal version of it. Or you can go and use one of these paid platforms to actually do the analysis for you. The next part, guys, is actually like collating all that information, looking for things like how many times things come up, the frequency of it, what's the average amount of times something comes up, comparing and contrasting those against each other. So we're looking at these descriptive analysis is actually talking about what is the information showing us. So we can go through and see how many times things come up, compare that across the board. And then our last thing, guys, from that we are going to draw conclusions. So are there any trends evident there, patterns? Can we say that our feedback is, or the sentiment is negative, positive, neutral? How does it actually look for our company as a whole? So again, guys, 2 ways to do this. Informally, you can just go through and have a look at comments on your different platforms, social media, email, review sites like Yelp, for example, or you can go into paid platforms, put your website in there, and it's going to collect information for you, which is quite a helpful thing to have. We're not going to go that far in this class. Now, the other thing that we can talk about is weak signals. So when we look at the sentiment, when we look at the comments and the reviews and the feedback that we get from consumers online, we can also see if we can identify any weak signals. So these are data points that might have some kind of implication for the future. Like there might be some kind of issue or problem that might pop up that we might, like maybe one person points it out. So for that restaurant, for example, not having a vegetarian meal on their menu, if that then becomes spread around, like if that post goes to lots of other vegetarians and those vegetarians are like, oh my God, that restaurant's terrible, we don't want to go there. All of a sudden now you've got this trend and this pattern starting to happen where people are not going to the restaurant because it has a reputation for having bad vegetarian food. So that one comment there has a weak signal in it, a signal that tells us that there might be a problem in the future. And, you know, if we maybe look at the feedback 6 months later, we might see that there's a lot of people not going because of that weak signal from 6 months earlier. So is there anything popping up in people's comments, any trends or patterns that are emerging that might create problems for our company in the future? We need to keep an eye on those, track them, monitor them as we go. Here's a couple of examples, guys. You can have a look through these, see if you can see any weak signals in here. This is about carpet cleaning products. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them might have some weak signals in here. So have a look through that, guys. See if you can spot any. Maybe think about sustainability and how that might impact people's perception of carpet cleaning products. Okay, lucky last here, guys. I mentioned Social Searcher before. If you did want to do this activity, I'm not marking an activity this week because we have the simulation running. But guys, if you did want to do this, you could jump onto the Social Searcher site and look at 10 of the different posts. So basically, you just choose a company here. You'd go to Social Searcher. There's a search menu that you get to when you first land on it. Just put your company in there. It's going to bring up all of the posts across social media for that company. You can do it by relevance or date. So you can just have a look at 10 of those different posts and see, basically by doing an informal sentiment analysis, is the feedback positive? Is it neutral? Is it negative? How many comments are actually falling into those ranges, right? And then also, are there any weak signals popping up? Are there any sort of smaller things that might become bigger problems in the future, right? That is essentially the basis of an informal sentiment analysis. We do it all the time when we're looking at our comments. It's something that people do just personally, not just companies. But as a company, we need to keep track of it because it can give us information for strategy in the future. Okay, that is the last slide. This is a quick one this week, guys. Not as much work, but we will be back with online reputation management next week. So I will see you then.